Ah, we are underway with the recording. Again, my name is Tim, Coach Tim. We got Jaden Vong here. Jaden, can you talk or do I have to unmute you? I had to ask to
Oh
unmute.
yeah, I can
There you
speak.
go.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
So hi everyone, I'm Jaden, and I'm really excited to be swim skills coach.
Awesome. Thank you, Jaden. Kalani.
Okay. Hi, I'm Kwani. I think most of you may know me. I'm also really excited to work with all your kids again. I probably know some of them. Excited to work with all of them and help them this season. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Very good. Let's get started. Um, a little bit about swim skills. First off, this is one of the biggest changes we're making. It's the very beginning part of the club, the entry level club groups. Um, I think it would help to kind of go back and just talk a little bit about Junior Sea Lions just for 1 minute. We used to offer Junior Sea Lions. It was a 5 day a week program. We were trying to go junior one, two, three, where we were teaching the progression of freestyle and backstroke, then breaststroke, then butterfly, and then hopefully into a more competitive group. The ages were all mixed up. Again, it was 5 days a week. So we were finding that a lot of people were only coming to maybe 3 days a week, so it was very difficult to coach. Um, and we were also finding that people were kind of getting a little lost and frustrated and leaving the team before they kind of made it through the progression, even though sometimes we saw, oh, these kids could compete now instead of coming all the way through. Um, so we made some what we think are really important changes and exciting changes to our entry level program. Instead of there being one, two, three levels, there's going to be one entry level. We're calling it Swim Skills, and then it will be a session-based program. Um, Session-based being kind of like a season. So we're trying to play nicely with 21st century families that have multi-sport children. And we're trying to offer something that plays a little bit nicer with other seasonal sports. Another big change that we've made, this is just overview, I'll get a little deeper into it in a sec, is uh, that we're trying to make the groups more age group appropriate. So closer in age group instead of having a 12-year-old with a 7-year-old, we're trying to squeeze it together so that we can coach to uh, age age appropriate coaching. Okay. Um, we've limited the groups to 2 days a week instead of offering it come five, any of the 5 days that you want. We're trying to restrict it down to committing to those 2 days. This is great for coaches. So this is kind of a coach centric decision to do so. It makes it much easier if we know that the majority of the kids are coming every single day instead of here and there and in different combinations. So we think this is a great change. We are going to structure the groups so that they are group centric. Um, that is, we're creating an atmosphere where we're making the group face each other and work together. That's fairly different than what the Junior Sea Lions was kind of individual. You were there to learn your skills and move on. So now we're coaching to the whole group, which as coaches is exciting. And it gets a little further away from what swim lessons are and gets closer to what a competitive swim team group looks like and acts like. We're also heavily goal centric, and you'll see that right off the bat here. Uh, so that's a little bit about the reorg. The curriculum will be the same across all groups. Okay. Oop, I went the wrong way. Okay. So, Swim Skills is a session-based exploration of competitive swimming. Okay, so we're trying to definitely draw a line between the lesson programs that we pull from or coming to us from and what we're looking to create as a competitive swim team. We've compiled a list of foundational competitive skills, which is the curriculum, and I'll show you those in a second. Groups are co-ed and they're close in age. It's a seasonal program. So you will find this fall, it'll be 16 weeks. We'll have another equal length session in what we would consider, I guess, the winter, spring. And spring, summer will develop, but those are going to be a little shorter just by nature of the amount of time that we have. And swim skills is performance awareness. So we're building life skills that get us ready to perform. So it's on and off the pool deck, right? How do you prepare yourself in the morning to get ready to go to swimming in the afternoon after a day of school, that type of stuff. So looking outside of just the initial skills, there's life skills to be taught and learning about how the body performs, both mentally and
On a
physically.
meet, so go have mom cook dinner, okay? So I got it all prepped. Thanks, buddy. I love you.
Got it. Okay, and Swim Skills is the candy meets, which if you are familiar with candy meets, those are now also considered block party meets, which I'll talk a little bit about later. These are our entry-level fun learning swim meets. They take place during practice time on Fridays, and they are one of the main goals and aims and coaching tools that we're coaching to and aiming towards as a group. Okay, I put good freestyle here for a reason. One of the things that we experience as a competitive swim team receiving swim school swimmers is that we rarely see even decent freestyle coming out of these programs. So giving and making a priority to, be proud of good freestyle in our program is one of our goals. So I like that goal. It's simple, it's concise, and it's a lifelong skill that our swimmers and our kids can take to any pool in the world in the future. We're excited about providing that skill. Okay, so who is this for? Ages 5 and over. What does a typical swimmer look like that comes into the program? So we've had a few 5-year-olds come in. It's pretty rare for a 5-year-old to be ready for something like this, but it has worked out. Mostly we're seeing 6, but definitely 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds. That's like the bulk of the kids that are coming into the program, trying swimming out for the first time, seeing if they want to compete more. We do see 10 plus, so 11, 12, sometimes 13, but what we have found is the older 10 plus aged kids coming at the sport new there's quite a few of them, and typically they don't like to swim amongst 5 and 6-year-olds. So they're starting to be socially aware. So we have decided to split it out. So yes, we have this 5 and over age group, but we are also splitting out the 11 or 10 plus kids so that they have a group that's all similar in age. And they're not swimming around 5 and 6-year-olds. We only have one of those groups. I think it's probably worth spending a little bit of time just giving you the lay of the land as far as bringing a prospective 10, 11 plus year old to any program that's a competitive swim program. It's difficult to place kids that are coming at it new. Other kids their age are usually 1, 2, 3, or plus years deep into their experience. And it's difficult to get new 11 plus year old kids into a group when they're years behind. So it's definitely a tricky age group to start out in the sport, but we're trying to take care of that as best we can, making one group for it. And we're excited about that change and getting those kids into a group that they're comfortable growing and learning at a rate that an pre-adolescent, adolescent will learn at. Okay. Okay, here's our list of skills that we have developed as a coaching staff, and we believe these are the skills coming into a competitive swim program that we think we can build off of later. There's going to be quite a bit of kicking. A lot of these skills up front are going to be quite a bit of kicking. Flutter kick on your back, on your stomach. Breaststroke kick is going to be a foundation. Dolphin kick is what we consider the fifth stroke. Super important. So we're going to get right into all the kicks. And we feel that if we can do a ton of kicking on the front end, it's going to be really, really good to build off of in the future. It's going to build endurance. It builds good body position, head position, and learning how to breathe while you're floating in the water. So this is something that we have circled around for quite a long time and figuring out what the skills list should be. Here it is. Warmth, pool rules, goal setting. This list itself is an initial goal. Learning how to listen. Lap etiquette. We want kids to be great lap swimmers anywhere in the world if they go through this session. Getting out of the water is super important. It's actually one of the exercises we do a lot. Deck up. Prone kick is no kickboard. You're just on your tummy kicking, floating, learning body position. Like I said, dolphin kick is a foundation of every single stroke pretty much. Lightly breaststroke, but it is in there. Sculling. If you don't know what sculling is, this is just motion in the water, like a water polo player or something, moving your body around, moving your hands through the water in a way that you're pushing and slicing at the same time. A lot of drills around this. Excellent freestyle. We're looking to hold ourselves to producing great freestylers. Basic backstroke usually comes with good freestyle. Breaststroke kick can easily, the way we're going to teach it, can be translated into breaststroke. And then butterfly introduction is a very tricky stroke. We don't need people to master it here, but it will be introduced. And then, I apologize. And then race dives. We do a lot of that just towards the end of practice, regularly. And finally, racing. We're a competitive swim team. We are going to be kind of teaching towards how to race and the language around it. So we are highly encouraging going to our candy meets, our block party meets, and learning how to race. This is a quick little overview. You'll see SwimSkills here. This is representing the beginning of the program. It filters from here. You're doing a session. If it is assessed, if the swimmer is assessed to move into a higher group, want to continue deeper your commitment. We're heading into pride groups and wave groups that are similar age groups and structured around age group, close age groupings. Again, furthering life skills, building on what we're starting in SwimSkills. Okay. Pre-senior, senior track over here. There's movement across all these groups here. It's not uncommon. The most common is pride through pre-senior, senior. Okay. We do offer open water for everybody on the team. You can see some of these opportunities. We have 2 junior coaches that swim in some of these upper groups right now that will be coaching your kids. We've also had people come out of some of these groups or in our senior group, in our upper level groups, become lifeguards. And we like to help foster that as well. All right, so that's just a quick little overview of the team structure and where SwimSkills fits in. Let's talk a little bit about the swimmer commitment and what you can expect of your swimmer and what we are going to expect of your swimmer in one of these groups. Showing up, arriving ready to learn, ready to grow. And we put swim together because, again, we're building these groups so that they have a group dynamic and that we're coaching to the group and not just a bunch of individual swimmers. So your kid is learning to be part of a group that swims around each other and supports each other in whatever goals they have, however they want to grow. Getting out of your comfort zone. Yeah, being in the water is not our natural medium. It is by nature somewhat uncomfortable at first. Coming out of swim schools, most notably is the water temp, right? You know, it's 20 degrees colder in some senses, maybe not that much. 10, 15 degrees colder, it can be a bit of a shock. Working with a group, having a goal. You know, some of these kids are setting goals for the first time. But it's in a safe group setting. We at USA Swimming, safety is very important to us. That's emotional safety as well, right? So being in a setting that kids can challenge themselves and push their limits in a safe way. We expect independence. We're learning independence and teaching it. So, for example, having your gear bag on your swimmer's shoulder and not your shoulder, right? Asking them questions about what they might think they need to do to get ready for swim practice instead of taking that bag and putting it in the car and packing a snack for them or whatever. So we're teaching not just the swim experience, but what it takes to get ready for that swim experience. Okay, and then also learning about performance, physical performance, race preparation. Okay, I'm gonna move on here. What does a typical practice look like? This is just a rough breakdown. Dryland is definitely a large part of swimming in general. We're looking to start small, but introduce it with a basic set of quick exercises on the deck that we've already started in Junior Sealions. So a lot of those kids already know it. It involves some ankle rolling, some streamlining on deck, learning how to breathe up into the chest and stuff like that. It takes a few minutes. Dry land's super important. It would be before we get in the water. There's usually a swim warm-up, like a 4, 5, 6 laps of swimming. We are going to structure our groups at this level to kick a lot. I said 50 to 60% here. That's probably in the ballpark. Some days more, maybe some days less. But again, we feel that kicking is super important for building a successful swimmer in the pool. If you can get that kick going and strong and learn how to balance in the water and your head position's right, the strokes will come. You can build off of that. So it's really the foundation of swimming. Yes, high volume of stroke technique. Okay. Stroke technique, like how to pull through the water, how your body should be in position. Tech first. If we can nail the technique, the speed will come, but it should not be the other way around. We really want to put a lot of effort into the stroke technique and allow kids to figure out in the progression before they just start doing the stroke. So we won't just let bad strokes happen. Come back to the part of the progression that they're working on, let them move on once they're perfecting each little technique. Each practice is probably no more than 500 yards. That's 20 laps. I would say sometimes we might go over that, sometimes under if we're talking more, but somewhere in that ballpark. Just to give you a gauge in our former bronze group, now the pride groups, those groups kind of do like 1,500 yards, 2,000 yards. So we're trying to step this up a little bit from what we've been doing to just to give them a little more endurance. Trying to build endurance here. Let's see, typical practice. A lot of fin work that helps the new swimmers get up to speed and stay at speed so they can work on things and they're not just trying to not sink. So we do quite a bit of fin work. Those are very important. Reading the clock, they'll be reading the clock. The red thing, if you've been on our deck, that's how we send off the groups. So they're looking at the clock and leaving on intervals. So eyesight is an important piece of this. If your swimmer has special eyes, sight needs that we need to know about, that would be helpful for us so that we're not, why aren't you leaving on time? And it might be as simple as they can't see. Just some things for you to keep in mind. The water's 82 degrees, very different from swim schools. They'll be getting in and out of the pool repeatedly. Like I said, we call that deck up. It's actually an exercise. We want them to be able to get in and out quick. Circle swimming. So you'll hear this a lot. Learning how to swim in the lane correctly, so you're not crashing into people. That's circle swimming. And communicating with your group mates, so you're not just sitting there crunched up in your own thoughts. You're working together to get a workout in. They might be watching a lot of video examples of strokes. They also might get in water, hands-on instruction. Not every day. It's hard to get in the water all the time as a coach. But those are all incredibly helpful ways to teach kids. Okay, sorry, I should have put this over. This is an actual little workout that we would do here, the dry land exercises, warm up. We might have one of the swimmers that might have a little more experience that might demonstrate a drill, and then we'll work on drill progressions through a drill into the stroke sort of thing. We do little games to keep it fun. See how far you can do dolphin kick underwater or something like that, right? Diving in and streamlining as far as you can, that sort of thing. Try and keep it fun. Then usually there's some sort of like getting out of the pool, do some diving or do a bunch of deck ups, something like that. 40 minutes, it's not a whole lot of time, but we aim to keep the kids moving. So assessments, we do plan to make assessments. I think it's probably beneficial to start with when, as a coaching staff, when we look to assess swimmers to move into a new group at the end of the session, there's a lot of different things we look at. These are going to typically be 3 to 5 weeks before the end of the session, so that there's time to kind of communicate, figure out where people need to go next, sort of thing, and so that families can plan too. So of course the skills list, that's a major part of it. Are you accomplishing the goal of doing these skills? Candy meet participation will be a metric. Did you go to a candy meet in your session or not? Performance improvement. So one of the things that swim meets is great at is discovering time metrics. Did you get faster? And usually if you're getting faster, that means you're more efficient in the water. You're getting stronger, you have more endurance. So it's a great classic metric of how your swimmer is doing, which is a cornerstone of USA Swimming, the swim meet. Okay, I'm gonna move on. Okay, that was the swimmer commitment. This is the family commitment. Okay, in swim lessons, the family commitment might be on the deck, hugs, put that towel around the kid, and then, you know, how was it? You did awesome, great. Swim team has a bit more involvement. Okay. I think it's also useful to speak to USA Swimming as a whole. The commitment typically for a swimming family has been fairly large. And what USA Swimming has found post-pandemic, and probably a little bit before that, is that new swim families are being turned off more than they're being turned on to the amount of family commitment there is. That's going to a swim meet for 2 days out of the weekend, volunteering your time at that swim meet and stuff. So right off the bat, going to a USA Swimming meet was too much. 5 days a week was too much, right? So we are looking for our families to learn how to support their athletes in a little bit more developed way. So instead of being there for your kid with the towel, you're helping support whatever goals they've come up with in their group, asking about what they're doing, what are you working on, that sort of stuff. Of course, again, this is mentioned before, supporting the independence, right? Making sure your swimmer is learning to pick up that bag or pack it in the morning, get that dry towel in there, that sort of thing. Family volunteering. So USA Swimming is a very volunteer-heavy sport. We plan to make the SwimFit program kind of a bite-sized chunk of that, so that families have an opportunity to come in, see how everything works in a scaled down version, but still you're learning how to volunteer. You're learning how to sign up to volunteer for jobs, and also what volunteer jobs there are. What does a family volunteer for swimming? Okay. This is important to us that our families understand that swimming happens because families volunteer. USA Swimming is a huge family volunteer organization, and if those volunteer hours aren't being picked up, there is a dollar amount associated with each hour worked. And it would be billed out at the end of the session. For our
Hey,
swim
Mr.
skills.
Tim,
Yes.
Matt Patu,
Hi, Matt.
volunteer treasurer for the swim team, parent, my athletes swim. You know me, the other parents don't. I just want to add that you're talking about volunteering. I think that when when you come to this organization and you just said it, and my wife told me I shouldn't say anything, but I wanted to say something anyway. This organization, I think presents very professionally compared to a lot of the other sports organizations that I'm involved in or my kids are involved in. That said, it is a parent volunteer run group. All of the people on the board are parents. They are unpaid. Coaches are paid nominally. The coaches are not quote unquote volunteers, but no one, particularly at the beginning of the school year, parents with kids wants to hear more volunteering, right? I just want to state that this team doesn't exist without parent volunteers because that is the team.
That's right.
The board is our parent volunteers. The labor, the fee structure is all based on family volunteering. It's not as much as maybe like an Ocean Shore school commitment, but to underscore what you were saying, particularly being a parent volunteer who spends a lot of time on this, this is a family. Y'all are the team, right? And also after things like this, because you are the team, the parents, the kids, it's your team. You can provide as much input as you'd like. Input is welcome. And I will now shut up and go back on mute.
Thank you, Matt. No, to speak to that, you might have seen the Olympic swimming events and you see USA Swimming winning stuff. It looks professional. They look like professional people, but it all started at these swim meets that parents put on, basically. It is a huge parent organization. And it's fun. We encourage it. This isn't supposed to be a penalty. It's just supposed to be reminding people that yes, this is a parent. There is a family commitment, but know that we are excited because when you do volunteer, you build community, you build relationships, you get to know the other swimmers. And
I will say one last thing, although I said I would shut up and I'm almost incapable of doing it. My daughter's in this group. She's been swimming a long time. It is we, the board, the parents that have continued to work and participate, and the coaches have and continue to do everything possible to make this a cohesive team, but without making this an overbearing, scary swim team, right? A lot of competitive swim teams across the country are scary. Your kid is mandated to swim 5 or 6 times a week, or they can't swim on the team. And while we're saying volunteering and we need your help because it's your organization, know that the board and the coaches have always strived to make this not one of those overbearing take over your life things, and that's part of your program. And I will actually now shut up. Back to you, Tim.
great. So just to a few examples of how to volunteer. One, tonight, if you're on this and you're part of the membership already, we're going to give you an hour for just being here listening to this. Other things would be like timing at a swim meet, no experience necessary. Marshalling, which is kind of like the parent-led safety team at a swim meet. There's a little bit of a certification process for that, a couple hours. That would count for volunteering. Officiating, you see people with white, you might have seen that at the Olympics. We have officials overseeing races so that we know that they're doing strokes legally and stuff like that. That's a much deeper commitment for later, but that is also another way of volunteering. And then, of course, Matt mentioned the board. We're a board-run organization. I think we have, what, 7 on our board right now. And we're always looking for interesting, excited parents that want to be more involved with their kids' sport and involved with the community aspect of creating and running a swim team. So I think that's good on the family commitment stuff. We're getting kind of close, so I'll just skim over this really quick. The candy meets are also block party meets, which might get a little confusing for you guys. Our candy meets we've been doing I think we started that right after COVID. So this is our 3rd, 4th season now actually doing candy meets. They're awesome. We get 100+ kids. It's a learning environment, learning how to compete. They're very short as far as the swim meet goes. It's during practice time, 3 hours. We're even touting that SwimSkills families might even get out of there in an hour and a half, 2 hours. Okay, so it's a shorter time commitment. They are USA Swimming official times now. That's what the block party name comes from. That is a pilot program from USA Swimming. Also along the lines of trying to bring swimming to the 21st century family that has a lot of stuff going on. They don't necessarily have the time to go to a 2-day swim meet to try it out. So we're talking about this really exciting new first step that is being developed across the board, USA Swimming and also at the local swim club level. Okay. And they're fun, super fun. Get to celebrate your accomplishments with your group. They will be group goals, right? How many kids can we get to go to a candy meet? Can we put together a couple of relays? That sort of thing. Those happen once a month. For SwimSkills, really that last one of each session will be an important one. We will put an emphasis on it. We'll have varying levels of ability in those groups. So some kids might be going to every one of those candy meets, and some of the new swimmers might be like, oh, I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna wait until the last one. But they're there once a month for people to participate in. We're excited about those. Equipment. This is a quick equipment list. Like I said, fins are super important and they should fit well. Don't try and buy them big because they'll just fall off. We have had some parents spearhead an equipment swap at the pool, so hopefully that will continue. And then that'll hopefully alleviate the, oh, I can't believe I had to buy another pair of fins sort of thing. Kickboard, we'll use kickboards, but again, we do a lot of kicking without kickboards. Kickboards become an incentive for social kicking, which everybody loves, but kind of group incentives, fun stuff. Goggles, well-fitting, get that strap around the back of their head and not on their neck. I work a lot with the kids on that. Swimsuits, we need a competitive style swimsuit that's tight fitting. Again, don't buy it big. It needs to be tight. It will kind of loosen up and then get destroyed over time in the chlorine. So buy it tight because it will just immediately loosen up. I have thermal tops written down here because I know there are some kids that come to us that are super excited to learn swimming, but they're small enough and their BMI is low enough that they just can't stay warm. And if it's a matter of warmth equals learning, then do it. Wear it. They'll probably outgrow it eventually. But if they can do it without, that's even better. Obviously, a towel, they should be in charge of that. They should know where it is when they get out of the water to get it. And then some sort of like warm stuff like sweatsuit, a parka that you can order with our logo on it, or some such warm attire, a robe or whatnot. Okay. Uh-oh, went too far. Schedule twice a week. We're asking for 2 days a week, and we're asking you to commit to those 2 days a week. If you think, okay, I'm going to sign up, but really I can only come on Monday, I'm not sure if you're going to get what you want or what we're going to promise out of the curriculum. It helps our coaches if everybody, as many kids there are there on any given day as there can be. It's great. It's just such a great way to coach, and everybody in that group is going to get more out of it the more of that group is there. So 2 days a week, monthly candy meets. December 20 would be this first session's last candy meet, so that's an important date when you're going to sign up for this thing. And then monthly group updates, that'll be something to look forward to. That's group specific to your swimmer. This is what we've been doing. These are some of the accomplishments. This is what we're looking forward to, and that sort of thing. So coaches will be stepping up and providing that update for your group every month. Okay, oh, one more word on the schedule. It's on the website, so you can go ahead and look at the specifics over there. I'm not gonna crowd the screen with that. Lastly, registration. We're gonna open it tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. If you go to pacificasealions.org, this is what you'll see first. This is last year's team picture with our 60th anniversary shirt on. Right here where this arrow is pointing, there's a couple of buttons here. When it goes live, there's going to be another one here that says Swim Skills. If you click on that, it's going to go to our Swim Skills page, which, can anybody tell me if this is actually, I think Gaku, you were gonna walk through the class registration process. It's fairly straightforward. I wanted to talk really quickly. When you're registering, it's a little confusing, we understand, but there are several registration fees. There's a team fee, but there's also a USA swimming registration that we need your swimmer to be registered for USA Swimming, which is $89 a year. The tricky thing right now in August is that no one can sign up for a registration until September 1st. So you'll be able to sign up for the swim skills class that you want, but in September, you're going to be communicated with a link to go and register for USA Swimming as well. $89 a year, one time a year registration. That's a membership to USA Swimming. We do want all of our members to be members of USA Swimming. And if you participate in a candy meet and you want an official time, you have to be a USA Swimming member. So just a little clarification on that special situation for August. And then Gaku, would you like to hop on?
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Tim. Good work. I'm showing you what our team website looks like right now. Hopefully you don't see all of my other bookmarks. Anyways, this is the team website, like Tim said. This is where you'll find the link to sign up for Swim Skills. And like Tim showed you, this is the Swim Skills registration page. You can see the 4 options: Monday, Wednesday, 4 to 4:40, or 4:40 to 5:20. Those will be with Coach Kalani. And we have Tuesday, Thursday, 4 to 4:40 with Coach Jaden. Those 3 are all for 10 and unders. And there's a Tuesday, Thursday swim skills session, 4:40 to 5:20, and that should be PM, not AM. We'll fix that. That's also with Coach Jaden. So when you register for one of these, it's gonna have you add it to your cart. You'll check out. It's gonna look something like this. You'll have two options to pay. You could make a single payment and pay your $50 annual team registration fee. That's $50 for SwimSkills, plus the $550 season fee all up front. Or you could choose to do monthly payments. That would be $200 up front, followed by a $150 payment in October and in November, and then a $100 payment in December. Do keep in mind that even if you do not plan to participate all season, you are on the hook for the full season fee, since your swimmer will take up that spot in the group for the entire season. So I'm going to show you what it looks like to register. This is a test. There's Gaku. I'm not going to put custom start and end dates. Signing up with Coach Jaden. See a series of waivers and agreements that you need to read through and sign. I've worked on a lot of these, so I've already read them. I'm going to agree to all of them. And then we'll go through and pay. It's pretty simple, and we like that it's all in one spot. In the future, might take you straight to USA Swimming to register your athlete if you haven't done that yet. And as our board president Jensen said in the chat, that will open on September 1. But like Coach Tim said, this registration page for SwimSkills will open tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. Tim, did you want me to show everyone how to opt in to Candy Meets?
Sure.
All right, so again, on the team website, you can see all of our events here, or go to events schedule. And it's gonna look like this. You'll see all of our events. Look for the Candy Meet. We have one coming up on August 28th. If I would like to sign up my swimmer, I'll click this red edit commitment. Look for the member. In my case, my member name is Gaku, but this would be your swimmer's name. Click the name, declare yes. If I'm gonna arrive late, I might say something like arrive at 5 p.m. and then save changes. Now I'm committed to the swim meet, and as long as I took care of that before the swim meet, before the entry and commitment deadline, the coaches will enter your swimmer in the meet. For SwimSkills, swim meet entries are opt-in only. So you do need to let your coaches know through this process if your swimmer is going to participate in Candy Meets. And those deadlines will typically be Tuesday before those, or Monday before those Candy Meets. For next week's Candy Meet, the deadline is tomorrow. And to sign up for volunteer jobs, you're going to scroll back down to that event. There's actually a bunch of information about the Candy Meet. Look for job sign up. And here on this page, you'll see lots of jobs available for you to sign up for. I'll give you a quick tip. The easiest is probably timer, but we have lots of jobs for lots of different people. We like to help out in lots of different ways. I think there's a bunch of questions. I'm gonna have Tim go back on though. We can
Okay.
try answering these questions and let everyone go.
Okay, I need to open my chat window first. One sec.
While you're doing that, we are offering 1 credit for every family that is represented on this Zoom call tonight. So if you are on the Zoom call and we may not be able to figure out who you are based on your username, please send us an email, coaches@pacificasealions.org, confirming that you were on the Zoom with us tonight so we can credit you 1 hour for attending tonight's call. And SwimSkills families will be asked to earn 4 credits this upcoming season. Let's see.
Great. I'm reading through these questions. It looks like a lot of the top ones have kind of been answered already. One maybe that can be clarified. Can we pick 2 days? I think hopefully they answered your question. No, we're designating the 2 days, Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday. We have discussed this. I don't know why the balloons went. We have discussed this, so on a case-by-case basis, we might we can talk about if that would be appropriate in some cases. But again, we plan on filling these groups, 5 kids in a lane. So when we have somebody that comes in and out from another group, that might be disruptive. But you know, definitely ask us if there's some special case. But otherwise, they are a set 2 days a week. Yes, first come, first serve. We felt like this was the fairest and best way to do it. And also just trying to figure it out from an admin standpoint on our end. This is what we landed on. Will there be a session break or the winter? No, there'll be a fair amount of break because the 20th of December will be the last day, basically, the candy meet. And then the session doesn't start up again until I think second week of January. So there's there's a couple of weeks break and figuring out where people can go and communicating. I'll be the one doing most of the communicating with that membership. Let's see. Yes, 15 swimmers. So yes, we're looking to use 3 lanes for these groups. So 5 kids per lane. That's what we're comfortable with. We know other teams do go beyond that. That gets a little tricky, especially when the kids get bigger. But for the beginning level, 5 is that's it. That's a good number. 5 per lane. Okay. Junior ones. In SwimSkills, the model is that it's going to be mixed ability. It will be mixed ability. The coaches are going to coach to this. It's a different style. There's various ways of doing this, boosting the less able kids up with fins or letting them do a different stroke, that sort of thing. Even flipping it, letting the less abled swimmers lead and have the more experienced swimmers push from behind, that sort of thing. So there's a different way of coaching these groups, but we're excited about keeping the ages together being priority. Okay.
Tim, I think I got a couple of questions. We're just seeing a hand raised by Carrie.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, awesome. I'm allowed to take myself off mute, so thank you.
Hi.
Hey Tim, excited for the new program. We'd kind of been waiting for our school to start. And my daughter was like super geeked on like starting team next week, but it seems like with the new program, we kind of have to wait, right? So she couldn't start now and then, go into the new, she just has to deal with it and start in a couple weeks.
Right. Yeah. So USA Swimming's official start of the season is September, first week of September. So in our case, it's the 9th.
Okay, cool.
Any other hands? Wow, we have a lot of people in here. Nice. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope this was beneficial. Please reach out to any of us coaches or board members with other questions. Reach out to people you know, ask questions, share info, build that community. Anything else? Anybody else? No hand raises. Okay, is that good for the chat window? It looks like everybody got responded to in there.
Looks
Okay.
like Carrie had a question about open swim this weekend.
Open water.
Tim, yeah, okay. So Tim, I'll let you take care of that offline.
Um,
Yeah,
I'm willing
Carrie,
to stay
send
on
us an
the.
email and we'll try to answer that for you. I'm
Okay.
going to stop the recording now.
Yes, you can just come to Aquatic Park if you want to open water swim. Please sign up, show up.